So this notes worksheet is going to be broken up into two sections. This video is going to focus on the front page, which is going to be on adding expressions. So example 1, Delilah signs up for a health club and a rock climbing gym. What expression represents her total fitness costs after M months? Okay, so we have some graphics on the side. It tells us about Rudy's Rock and Climbers and Ace Health Club. So it's talking about the total fitness cost. So that means that we're going to have to add together the cost for her health club and the cost for the rock climbing. But we have to write some expressions to represent the cost of both of those pieces. So the health club is on the right-hand side. Ace Health Club has an initial fee of $80 and a monthly fee of $50. And it's talking about M months. So we're going to be kind of using that M to represent that number of months. So hopefully we can tell that our expression for Ace Health Club is going to look like 80 plus 50M, because it's $50 a month and that $80 is just a constant. You could write it as 50M plus 80, and that's fine too. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. And because we're talking about the cost of the health club, I'm just going to put it in some parentheses to show, hey, that together is the cost of the health club, because we are going to be adding that on to the cost of the rock climbing, okay, which had a $65 initial fee and $40 per month. So that expression is going to be 65 plus 40M. Once again, 40M plus 65, also okay. Okay, so this is our total, because we have our expression for health club plus our expression for rock climbing, and we're going to add them together. Now, I wanted to make sure I wrote it like this with the parentheses, because you're going to see a lot of questions in this section written with those parentheses. But really, I'm hoping you're noticing we really don't need them. Okay, now it'd be a different story. Do not write this down. It would be a different story if I had like a 3 out front here, because I would have to distribute things first. But there's no numbers on the outside of my parentheses. Okay, so really it's just 80 plus 50M plus 65 plus 40M. And essentially this is just a question where we're combining together our like terms. So we're allowed to put together, I'm going to use some blue here. We're allowed to put together our constants, which are 80 and a plus 65. And we are allowed to put together our M's, which is 50M and a plus 40M. And our final answer, when we put those together, would be 145, because 80 plus 65. And then the 50M plus the 40M would be 90M. That is our total, representing the cost of Delilah's fitness endeavors. Okay. A couple of vocab words here. You have heard about these before, and honestly, they're not super important to know, but I think it's important to note because the reason this works, why you're allowed to kind of take out these parentheses and combine together these like terms, is these properties that you've learned in the past. So the commutative property, I had to see which one we're doing there. The commutative property allows you to add, in this case, but also multiply if you only have multiplication in whatever order you want. Okay, so when you have something like this line right here, okay, the reason we can put together those like terms is because I'm like, hey, even though they're not together, I'm going to do the 80 and the 65 first, and then I'm going to do the 50M and the 40M next. Okay, so commutative property allows you to add in whatever order you want, even if they're not exactly next to each other. And the other one is that the associative property allows us to group things together however we want. Kind of the same idea. Like I can do in whatever order, but also I'm grouping together my 80 and my 65. I'm grouping together my 50M and 40M. We just don't write it out like that because it's kind of a waste of time. But that's really what's happening here. We can add our terms in whatever order we want. We can group them up however we want, as long as it's just addition, okay, or just multiplication, even though we're not dealing with that right now. Okay, there's a try it. So I would like you to pause the video and give this one a try. And when you think you are good, okay, please press play again. I do want to note that it says Sophia and Ali each deposit 120 to open a joint account. Okay, so pause and go ahead and try that. Okay, so Sophia and Ali are each depositing $120. Sophia then deposits $150 each month and Ali deposits $135 each month. How much represents the amount in the account after M months? So we're going to write expressions for Sophia and Ali, and then we're going to add them together. So Sophia starts with 120. That was her initial deposit. But then she adds in 150 each month. Ali deposits 135. Oops, sorry, that was wrong. Ali deposits 120 as well, and then adds 135 each month. So I'm really going to write this out because we are combining together our 120 plus 150M plus our 120 plus 135M. But really that just means we can put our constants together and our M's together. So our final answer would be something like 240 plus, what is that, 285M. And once again, if you had the M's first and then the 240, that is fine as well. Example 2, Cindy spent $125 on ingredients for muffins and $92.40 on ingredients for bagels. Write an expression to represent Cindy's profit for M muffins and B bagels. Okay, so profit means how much money you bring in from selling something after you take into account that you paid money for, ingredients or supplies or things like that. Okay, so it's just the extra money you make after you kind of talk about your expenses. So for bagels, I'm going to start with muffins. So for muffins, she sold them for $2.40 each. And it's M muffins. So the money she brings in from selling them is going to be $2.40 times M. $2.40 times the number of muffins she sells. However, she spent 125 ingredients for muffins. So that's money she spent. That's a negative. So we need to subtract from that the 125. The bagels she sold for $1.80 each. So it would be $1.80 times B, the number of bagels. But she spent $92.40 on ingredients. So that's going to now subtract $92.40. Okay, so this is representing how much profit she made on muffins, okay, by figuring out how much she made by selling them and subtracting the money she spent. This is the profit she made from selling bagels, okay, but also taking into account the money she spent on the ingredients. And now it wants the profit for both of them combined. So we're going to add together our 240M minus 125 plus our 180B minus 92.40. And the only set of like terms that we have here is those constants. Okay, we still have our 240M. We have our $1.80 B, but I have a negative 125 and a negative 92.4. And they are the same sign, so I'm going to add them together. And together, they are minus 217.4. Okay, last one. Looks scary, but I promise it really isn't. Okay, this is just a straight up, here's some expressions, add them together question. Okay, really a lot easier than the word problems in my opinion, but I know you're going to freak out about the fractions, but it's okay. Okay, our like terms here are our x's. We have the constants. And notice I'm including the signs with them. And my y's. Okay. Now let's just get those fractions taken care of right off the bat. If it's 1/2 x, I'm going to write it on the side, 1/2 x plus 1/4 y. Sorry, not 1/4 y, 1/4 x. Okay, they're x's, that's why we can put them together. They need to have a common denominator. So 2 and 4 both go into 4. So I'm going to keep my second fraction as 1/4 x, but I need to change this one into something out of 4. Well, what do we do to 2 to get to 4? We times it by 2. So I need to do the same thing to the top. So my new fraction is going to be 2/4 x. And now I can add them together to get 3/4 x. So my x's gave me 3/4 x. I'm going to do my y's next. I have a negative 2y and a negative 2y. That would be minus 4y. Same sign, add them together, keep the sign. And then a negative 3 and a positive 5. Okay, signs are different, subtract. We would get a plus 2. Okay, once again, those terms could be in whatever order you want, as long as the sign in front of it is the same in whatever expression you have. Okay, but the parentheses in this case, when you're adding them, as long as there's no numbers in front, don't really matter. Okay, so just combine your like terms like you normally would. Okay, there's a Math Excel to go with this, so please check that out and use these notes to help you.